Are what's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here. Today I'm going to be ranking all three Fear Street movies. Like, and when I say that, I mean all three movies from the recent Netflix Fear Street trilogy of movies, and I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best. Well, honestly, more like least best to bestest, or I could say my least favorite to my favorite, because none of these films are bad. They're all great. Um, it's just that I like some of these films better than I like uh, other. I like certain films from this trilogy better than I like better than the other films in this trilogy. What I'm trying to say is I have a particular order for which one I like the least and which one I like the best and which one is in the middle. Like, they're all great though. Anyway, on to number 3. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Fear Street Part 1, 1978. Now, this movie was not bad at all. It was actually a really great movie. It's one of the best films of the year in my opinion. It was really fun. I loved it. I had no problems with it. Everything was great. Nothing was like 100% great, like 10 out of 10 great. Nothing in here was perfect. This isn't a perfect movie, but it is a great movie. And it's a really fun, nostalgic movie with great characters. And great humor and, you know, great thrills and a great story and a great ending and great nostalgic stuff. However, I just didn't like this one as much as I liked the the other films from this trilogy. The two other films from this trilogy. Um, I but nevertheless, I still loved this movie. This was still a great movie. I just didn't like it as much as I liked its sequels. Anyway, on to number 2. Coming in as coming in second place is going to be Fear Street Part 3, not 1666. Um, Now this movie, in my opinion, was significantly better than Part 1. They're both great movies, but I like this one a lot better than I like Part 1. Um, this movie is like, the oddball in the trilogy, honestly, if you think about it, because it's for most of this movie, it's very totally different from the other Fear Street movies. They're all horror movies, but most Fear Street 1 and Fear Street 2 are like comedy horror movies with like a lot of comedy in there too. And they're not like as dark as this one. This one is the darkest film in the trilogy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, part of this movie is part of this movie takes place in 1666 and tells the story of Sarah Fear. Um, and that is the best part of the movie, in my opinion. Like, the first half like is set in not 19 is set in 1666, and then the second half of this movie is set in 1994. And yes, there is like a tone difference between those two halves of the movie, but like the movie like acknowledges that. And you would I know that, like, that would sound messy, but like, the it works. Like, it works very well. And I love the whole like creepiness of this movie. And I love the thrills in this movie. This movie was very gripping in my opinion. It was very well done. It was great. It was very intense at certain times, in a good way, of course. It was very unsettling at certain times, in a good way, of course. Um, I I love this movie. It's a great movie. It's awesome, and the second half is awesome, and the characters in this movie are awesome, and all the twists and turns in this movie, and there are a lot of them, are great. They're great. They feel like they seem logical. They seem like they seem like they fit with the story, and for the um and they're actually pretty unpredictable in a good way. Um this movie was great. I loved it. I know I've said that like 3 times already, but I feel like I have to say it again. Um it was a very, very, very gripping experience, and just fun experience, like in its own sort of way. Um, but I didn't like it as much as I liked number one. Well, when I say number one, I don't mean the first movie in the trilogy. I mean the movie that's coming in number one. Anyway, which I'm about to tell you what movie that is in a minute. Anyway, coming in at number one in first place is Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Now, I love this movie like a lot more than I love the two other movies in the Fear Street trilogy. I mean, they're all great movies. I love them all. But like, there's like a vast significant difference between the how much I love this movie and the other movies. Like, I this movie is a near masterpiece in my opinion. A near masterpiece. The other movies in the Fear Street trilogy are great, but they're not like near masterpieces. They're not like near perfection as much as this one is. This one was just blew me away. I loved it. It's got the best characters in all of the movies, in my opinion. I loved Sadie Sink in this movie. I loved everybody in this movie. I loved everybody in this movie, but Sadie Sink was just gave the best performance in this movie, and her character was her character Ziggy, the 1978 Ziggy, of course, was just awesome and just really lovable and a really fun character, and you know, really funny too. She could be really funny, and she was a very witty character, and she was just awesome. And this movie's awesome. This movie is the most fun, in my opinion, out of all three of these movies. They're all fun, but this one is the most fun. This movie just gave me what I wanted. Everything I wanted. And was it a perfect movie? No, but it was almost a perfect movie. It was a near perfect movie. It was a near masterpiece. And it has like the best character chemistry in it. It has the best killer in it. Well, the best like killer villain, like the best villain killer out of all three of these movies. That's what I meant. It had the best story, the best twists and turns. It had the best ending. It had the best everything, and it had the best soundtrack too. All three of these movies have great soundtracks. But this one had the best soundtrack in my opinion. Like what I mean is that like, you know, I'm not saying that like, you know, all of the songs were like, you know, way better than like, you know, the songs from like the first one or the third one. When I say that it had the best soundtrack, I specifically mean like the songs in this movie were played at the right time. At the right times. Like they just felt like they went along with like the movie scenes that they were in better than like, you know, the songs from the other movies did. I love this trilogy. And I love all these movies. Well, honestly, that what I just said was the same thing as what I said before that, which was I love this trilogy. Like, honestly, saying I love this trilogy and I love all these movies basically means the same thing. But like I said, I'm going to say this again. I love all of these movies, but Fear Street Part 2 is just the best in my opinion. The best in my opinion. And it's all of these movies are going to, like, you know, in my opinion, in the future, like, become like cult classics. Like, everybody's just going to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that film." And then like on Halloween they're just like, "Oh, we should watch that. We should watch like the Fear Street movies." But I think that this movie, like Fear Street Part 2, 1978, is like, you know, especially like, you know, probably going to become a cult classic. I think that this movie has like, you know, the most chance of becoming a cult classic. It's just a wild, fun ride with great humor, great visuals, a great nostalgic factor, and great characters, great, like, you know, horror elements, because this is a horror movie. Great everything. It has very strong acting. It has like a lot of strong acting in it. And great performances, great character chemistry. I mean, all these movies have great character chemistry in them, but like, you know, this one, Fear Street Part 2, just has the best character chemistry in it. And I love, I'm going to say this again. I love all of these movies, especially the second one. And I can't wait for, like, you know, more Fear Street movies to come out. I heard that Netflix is planning on making like a few spin-offs of the Fear Street of this trilogy, like a few Fear Street spin-offs, and I can't wait. Anyway, that was my ranking. for all three Fear Street movies. If you've seen all three Fear Street movies and you wanna tell me your ranking down below in the comments, please do so. Anyway, like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.